What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I got to have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me? This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I just literally jumped off the plane. A lot of people have been following the journey on the Anton Daniels channel, whereas jumped off the plane and went to baggage claim, went and got my stuff, and then came straight here after preparing the whole show on the plane. So I had a 6 a.m. flight this morning from DC, and then I had to literally go and check on the property and then go check on the progress of another property. Like the first property I checked on was a property to buy. And then I checked on the construction progress of the property that we have. And then now we here on the Millionaire Morning Show. And so we hear what up, what up, what up, what up, what up. You got to take care of business. I will tell you that I am on, I believe, like a 48-hour no sleep binge. So sometimes, and I already prepared for this, I already expected this. Sometimes you don't sleep. Jasmine Crockett net worth is showing us $9 million. Sometimes you don't sleep. Sometimes you on the move. And so that's the part that the people don't see. A lot of times they just see the content. They just see the buildings. They just see the houses. They just see the businesses. They just see the employees. They just see the studio. They don't see the fact that you may not sleep as much. So I got a Patreon exclusive video coming out this weekend. Plus we got Block Club coming up. So if y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got to get it. I had a phenomenal night last night. I know I don't look like I'm sleepy, but I'm a little sleepy. I know I don't look like it. I took a half-hour nap because I had an hour-and-a-half flight on the plane here. And that's what we do, man. We just get it. We go and get it, take care of business, and we own it. We'll sleep later. We'll sleep when we get back comfortable. But right now, we got a show to do. We never miss. I'm not going to take off. And so this is what I want y'all to do. Before we get into the show, I want y'all to understand that we never, ever make excuses for why we can't take care of business and be on top of things. Let me say that again for the people in the back. If I can work my butt off, if I can do it, I don't want there to be any excuse as to why you can't. If I can do it, I don't want there to be any excuses as to why you can't. No more excuses, man. Excuses is out the door. I don't want to hear it, man. And a lot of y'all want to open up your own businesses. You think that open up your own business means that you're going to be able to wake up when you want. No, that means that you got to wake up earlier and you don't get no PTO and you only eat what you kill And so a lot of people, they always want to like think that, oh man, I hate this job. Some of y'all are meant to work for regular jobs. Some of y'all are meant to have regular, everyday jobs because you are spoiled. You don't know what it means or what it takes in order to be successful. You whine and you complain all the time. People is tired of hearing you complain. We are moving into a space now where people are going to then pivot and they're going to be appreciative of the job that they could have or the job that they had. It's going to be a luxury. It's going to be a luxury for you to have a regular job with regular benefits and all of that stuff. That's what we coming to. That's what it's about to turn into, is that it's going to be a luxury to do some of the things that y'all thought was normal back in the day. And you're not going to appreciate it. You never appreciated it until it was gone, but it's here now. And so, again, I always appreciate y'all. I thought that After Hours show last night was the best show that we'd ever had. Man, we be cracking up. It is hilarious. We don't even intend to stream for 4 hours. The goal was originally only be online for a little over 2 hours on After Hours. We be streaming for 3 and 4 hours and all of that, man. So it's pretty interesting. It's a great time to be alive. Drake dropped this morning / last night. Popular opinion. I'm not going to say unpopular opinion. Popular opinion. The Drake featuring Party Next Door album. That's what it sounds like. The Drake Party Next Door album is way better than the Weeknd's album that just dropped. And it's 2,000 times better than Kendrick Lamar. Flat out. We're going to have a conversation probably tonight on After Hours. I know a lot of people really want Kendrick Lamar to win, but he's nothing without Drizzy. He's nothing without Drizzy. I had the headphones in my ear literally right after I got off of the live stream last night, and I was working all night until it's a fact, ain't it? Y'all know it's true. I threw the headphones in. That Party Next Door Drake. What up, Molly? Molly, you gonna be on tonight? I threw the headphones in last night, and I just worked all night until I had to catch my flight at 6 a.m, and I had my headphones in all on the plane. It ain't even a comparison, bro. It's not even close. And you don't really appreciate how great this dude is until you see the fall off from Kendrick without the Drake assistance. I think that the real play was Drake just leave him alone and let him do whatever it is that he's going to do and watch him fall off without the Drake help. He's still saying the same songs. He's still singing the same songs from 9-10 months ago. Say, Drake. Yo, you still doing the same thing? So your whole tour is the Drake tour. We going to talk about that. Drake album is way better than the Weeknd's album. I lived with the Weeknd's album all last week. I played it. No, it's the truth, bro. Lucas, I'm sorry to tell you. Lucas. Listen, that Party Next Door album, it's going to rock all summer. The whole thing is fire. Listen, yo, it's Valentine's Day, bro. Yo chick don't want to listen to that trash GNX. They don't want to listen to that, bro. They want to listen to the thing that we're going to be listening to all day today. I'm telling you that don't no girl want to listen to Say Drake. They don't want to listen to that, bro. I'm being honest with you. We'll get there. We'll talk about it on After Hours. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. What is this? Anton Daniels, Oakland County Division Notice of Assessment. Notice of assessment. I don't like that. Oh, I thought I paid all of my tax bills this year. Why is it when this is just an assessment? This ain't a tax bill. I'm like, what the piss? All right. Okay, we good. I thought this was a tax bill. This is just an assessment. This is an assessment for a new property I just bought. All right, we good. What is this? Look at Tiege. Tiege, don't be sending me no stuff. All right, y'all ready to get into the show? You can say what you want, Mace, but when I turn on that Drake and Party Next Door, your girl gonna be in the background. She ain't gonna want you to look. She gonna be looking like, And then you gonna turn around. She gonna stop. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. No 48 hours no sleep, but we reinvigorated. We look like we've been sleeping for 8 to 10 hours every single day. We look like we've been sleeping for 8 to 10 hours every single day. All right, you sent me that bill. Thomas G, you sent me that assessor's bill. All right, let's get it then. All right, y'all. First, we got to make sure that we tap into the chat, to the super chats and the cash apps to give credit where credit is due. As always, like to acknowledge the people that support the platform. First of all, I want to say what up, though, to Mike That Dude. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, Mike That Dude. Spencer Campbell, thank you for holding me down. It is very much appreciated. Spencer Campbell says good morning and God bless. Thank you. Blessed says morning chat and Anton. Beginning of this year was a little rough, but I made it through. I like that. I like that. Thankful for my life when I know some didn't make it. So much to catch up on, and the Patreon this year will be great. Yes, tap into the Patreon, and I love your name, Blessed. Self-made forever says, AD, did you see Jasmine Crockett net worth is now showing as 9 million? And would you ever consider bringing her on the Patreon to debate her? No, I wouldn't try to debate Jasmine Crockett. I would just want to ask her some questions. I don't think that she would ever show up on my platform. I'll reach out to her and see what she say. Bishop Cam Nelson, what up? Says tithing builds abundance. I appreciate you. Flow State K9 is in the building. What up, though? Christopher Mayberry says, yo, AD, tell Mika to watch out. I saw Q Diddy in the shed looking for a new tool. Yesterday, a Bank of America employee jumped from the top of the building during the shift in my city of Jacksonville, Florida. Wow, I'm going to have to check that out. Galentine's Day is a fake TV show park and recreated it. Latrell, what up, though? I appreciate you for the two. Showcase Classics in the building. Says, good morning, Anton, in the chat. Blue Cross Blue Shield is gold. Health procedures and surgery can total $250,000 in its cover, and I'm thankful for it. Get that good healthcare coverage. I got to pay for my healthcare coverage now. But I think I'm going to have a private health person, whatever that is. Good morning, my brother. Why is Ann Arbor, Michigan looking like mini Portland? Is getting bad. Yeah, it is pretty bad out there. It is what it is, bro. I'm going to continue to read super chats throughout the show. Thankful for y'all. Continue to rock with us. Let's go ahead and get started with prayer, and then we're going to get it rocking. Lord, we ask that you continue to be with us today. Give us endurance. Endurance is the word today. Endurance. Give us endurance. Because a lot of times we don't realize that the thing that we want, somebody else wants it more. The thing that we have, somebody else wants it more. The thing that we seeking, somebody else wants it more. The things that we lost, somebody else wanted it more. But because we were lazy, but because we didn't have endurance, because we couldn't see it through, we were right there at the finish line. And in order for us to get it, in order for us to maintain it, in order for us to keep it, we still needed to have endurance. Once you cross the finish line, that's not it. That's not it. I've seen several Eagles players said that it was more invigorating actually chasing the Super Bowl than it was to acquire it, because after 2 days, it didn't mean anything to them anymore. The grind, bless us to embrace the grind, not necessarily care about the victory. That's deep right there. A lot of people don't understand that. Lord, bless us to embrace the grind and not necessarily care about the victory. This is my second time retiring, God. And the first time I realized that I wasn't happy just because I had enough money to be able to live the rest of my life comfortable. A lot of people are working to retire and then they die 2 years afterwards. They die a couple years after they retire because they no longer have purpose. Give us purpose, give us grind, give us enjoyment while we're grinding to really appreciate it, because Lord, I got a new lease on life when I went to DC. I seen a lot. I learned a lot. I talked to a lot of people. I interacted. DC loved me, God. DC loves me, God. But I got a new lease on life when I went to DC. And I'm always looking for inspiration because I realize that as much as I grind, I need to love it while I'm grinding. And that's the thing. That's the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to add value while at the same time living every day like it's your last and appreciating it, and then making every day count, making every single moment and every day count. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm excited right now to come before your people and be able to have this great show. Bless us and give us great jokes, great times, great entertainment, and learn lessons. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's talk about the Attorney General over in Manhattan. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney General resigned. So we all knew that this whole Eric Adams situation was not going to be over. And what does that mean when I say the Eric Adams situation was not going to be over? It means that we knew that it wasn't going to just be, okay, Eric Adams, he got off from the charges that they were trying to file against him. That was the end of the story. No, the rabbit hole now goes deeper. And more importantly, Eric Adams has to pay the piper. Eric Adams now has to come before the front of the congregation, and the people that asked for him and the charges to be dropped against him, now they want something in return. But before we get into that, let's talk about the woman who resigned, who was the U.S. attorney that was prosecuting Eric Adams, that was forced to drop the case, and then ultimately she quit her job. Let's get into it.
I told you about multiple high-level resignations at the Justice Department and the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office, all of them apparently prompted by the Trump administration's order for a New York court to drop the corruption case against New York Mayor Eric Adams. And now CNN has just obtained two letters. One is the resignation letter from the acting U.S. attorney in New York. The other is the response she got from Trump's Deputy Attorney General, Emile Beauvais. Let's go straight.
Hold on. Before we get into this, I do want to address something really quick. Somebody said, in the name of the Mary, the Immaculate Queen of the Universe. I don't even know what that means. Listen, bro. I don't know if y'all Catholic. I don't know what y'all worship and what y'all mindset is. My prayer was my prayer. I said in Jesus' name, not in Mary's name. I didn't read anything in the word where Mary was the person that we were supposed to be praying to. Jesus is the intercessor. And I don't know if that was a joke or something like that, but Jesus is the intercessor. He is the person that we go to or go through in order to be able to get our prayers over to where we needed to go. We don't do Marys, okay? We don't do Hail Marys full of grace. We don't go and talk to the pedos, the preacher pedos that's inside of the Catholic Church that y'all go and y'all do. We don't do confession. We don't do none of that. We don't pray to Mary. I want you to understand something. We don't just say amen at the end of our prayers. At the end of our prayers, we say in Jesus' name, because he said where two or three are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of thee. So I want to make sure that we all on the same page before we deep dive into this, because we don't switch up at all. We very matter of fact with what it is that we stand for over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. All right. When we pray, we say what we say, and we do what we do. Let's start over, and then we gonna get to it. Don't change my prayers.
Breaking news in our Law and Justice lead. We just told you about multiple high-level resignations at the Justice Department and the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office, all of them apparently prompted by the Trump administration's order for a New York court to drop the corruption case against New York Mayor Eric Adams. And now CNN has just obtained two letters. One is the resignation letter from the acting U.S. attorney in New York. The other is the response she got from Trump's Deputy Attorney General, Emile Beauvais. Let's go straight to CNN's Evan Perez. On Evan, just to remind everyone, Nadine Sassoon, the U.S. attorney, the acting U.S. attorney in question, is a conservative, a member of Danielle Sassoon, a conservative, a member of the Federalist Society. She clerked for Antonin Scalia. That's just a little background for people. What's in the letters?
That's right, Jake. And we should note she was put in place as the acting attorney, U.S. attorney in Manhattan by this current Trump team. In other words, they believed she could be trusted to run this office. And now it appears to have fallen apart all over because Emile Beauvais, who is the Deputy Attorney General, he's the acting Deputy Attorney General, had ordered her and her office to dismiss the charges, the corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. And so these two letters here, Jake, are extraordinary because they are part of a spiraling crisis that is ongoing right now at the Justice Department. Not only is Danielle Sassoon, also has she resigned, but also two officials here at the Justice Department headquarters have resigned as a result of what has been going on. I'll read you just of what some of what Danielle Sassoon says in her letter to the Attorney General yesterday. She accuses Beauvais of essentially being part of a quid pro quo with attorneys for Eric Adams. She describes a meeting that happened on January 31st, in which she says, I attended a meeting on January 31st with Mr. Beauvais, Adams' counsel, and members of my team. Adams' attorneys repeatedly urged what amounted to a quid pro quo, indicating that Adams would be in a position to assist with the department's enforcement priorities only if this indictment were dismissed.
Somebody said, I don't know, but I think Eric Adams is guilty. Guilty of what? Do you even know what he was being charged with? I bet you the people that think that Eric Adams is guilty, they don't even know what he was charged with. Very few people can tell you what he was charged with without looking it up, without Googling it. Very few people actually can tell you what he was being charged with. I think that Eric Adams is guilty of allowing for illegal migrants and playing up and doing Biden's bidding when it came to all of the people that was coming over into the country. But I don't think that Eric Adams is guilty of, I think he's guilty of being a scumbag, but I don't think that he's guilty of taking improper payments and upgrades in order to assist the people over in Turkey and to get the leaders in Turkey building built faster. It's nonsense. It's not true. I don't think that Eric Adams is guilty of that at all.
What Adams and his attorneys were offering was that he would help with the enforcement of immigration activities in New York City, the sanctuary status, all the things that Donald Trump wants, if they drop this case. And, that's one of the things she makes in this accusation. Now, Beauvais, for his part, responds today saying, essentially, we're accepting your resignation. And he also puts on administrative leave the attorneys who are running this case in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office. And I'll read you just a part of what he says. He says that they had determined that there was weaponization in bringing this case, Jake. And he says the Justice Department will not tolerate the insubordination and apparent misconduct reflected in the approach that you and your office have taken in this matter. So what we know now, Jake, is this. After he had asked for the office to dismiss this case, and she had declined, saying nobody in her office was willing to sign the documents to dismiss the case, what happens next is that Beauvais goes to the public integrity section here in Washington, and he asks them, go to New York and sign these dismissals. They also declined, and they resigned. So as a result, Kevin Driscoll, who's the top career lawyer in the criminal division overseeing the public integrity section, he resigned today. And John Keller, also the acting head of the public integrity section, Jake, he resigned as a result of all of this.
Fascinating stuff. Evan Pettos, thanks so much. Let's talk about this with Ellie Honig, CNN senior legal analyst, who was an associate U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. And Ellie, again, this woman, this acting U.S. attorney, Danielle Sassoon, was a conservative, is a conservative. She clerked for Scalia. She's a member of the Federalist Society. This is not her being a liberal activist prosecutor. Tell us about what kind of statement her resignation makes, do you think, not to mention the people in the public integrity section of DOJ?
Well, Jake, these resignations were courageous and necessary moves. It was the only right and principled and ethical move by all of them.
Of course it was. Of course it was. I'm being sarcastic. They're going to say, of course CNN is going to sit there and say, oh my God, this was the only ethical thing to do. They all had to resign or whatever, so on and so forth. The one thing that I applaud the Trump administration with is getting things done and making sure that they weed out the people that are not for the American people early in their administration. The one mistake that Trump made in his previous term was he hired a bunch of people, not everybody, but there was a bunch of people that was basically snakes, and those snakes did not hold it down. They did not take care of business. They was not on top of things. and they wound up trading against him, and it impeded what he was trying to do during his first administration. Whereas this time, he has basically got loyalists in his cabinet and on his team. And what he's doing is basically rooting out the people very quickly and being able to vet out the people very quickly that's not playing ball and doing what they need to do so that we can get things done.
All of them were faced with really a prosecutor's nightmare scenario. They were given a direct order from the DOJ bosses to dismiss a perfectly legitimate indictment before it ever saw a trial jury for purely overtly political reasons. If we look back a few days to Emil Bove's instruction to dismiss the case, that letter is a crazy document. It is completely political. It is explicitly political. It says, the reason I'm ordering you to dismiss this case has nothing to do with the merits of the case, nothing to do with the evidence, but because Eric Adams essentially needs to be freed up to pursue Donald Trump's immigration agenda. So good.
Now, of course, they're going to say that. Let's look at it logically from a reasonable perspective, right? Because some people would argue when they say, well, Anton, you just supporting Trump and everything that he does. No, that's not true. I just called out the whole Gaza situation, but let's look at it logically. Let's say hypothetically that we use hundreds of thousands, if not millions of taxpayer dollars to chase down Eric Adams, that they could or could not possibly win a case against him when it came to him illegally accepting some upgrades on a flight from Turkey or whatever, so on and so forth, that would net them their career case, get them through the door so that they can ultimately get bigger jobs and be able to get big firms or whatever. Because really, that's what a lot of this is. A lot of this is people looking to make a career case, and they're using political figures to do it. Now, let's say hypothetically that they pursue this, and let's say hypothetically that they actually win the case. And they spend millions of taxpayer dollars and all of this time and all of this resources that they could have been dedicating to something else to do it, right? Because for example, says, obviously they feel like they have a great case, get real, dude. Let me show you how short-sighted some of these liberals are. Number one, I don't believe that it's a case that they should be pursuing and prosecuting, because obviously we know that this was brought against them from the Biden administration. But let's just say all this stuff that they're saying is true, and they pursue this whole case. And then after they're done, Trump then says, Robert Dalton says they had a case. Cool. Let's assume for the sake of conversation that y'all right, which y'all not, but let's assume for the sake of conversation that y'all do. And they spend all of this millions of taxpayer dollars, because that's what it costs, taxpayer dollars, in order to pursue it, right? And then Trump says, cool, now that y'all done, he pardoned. And then what? What if they spend millions of taxpayer dollars that they could have actually been pursuing somebody that was doing something really wrong and that was really taking advantage of taxpayers, or doing something egregious against the people of the United States of America, and they spend millions of dollars doing this instead? And then Trump says, okay, cool, now that y'all did that, he pardoned, he's free to do whatever it is that he want to do anyway. Then what? Because I believe in a lot of these instances, these people don't really have a case, but they're looking to make a name for themselves that then leapfrogs them into other positions later on in their careers. Why would we waste time on something that we know is not going anywhere in the first place? The only reason that they started pursuing him is because he didn't play ball when it came to the immigration and the migrant crisis. Waste of time, man. Y'all wasting time.
Good for Danielle Sassoon. Good for the other DOJ prosecutors. They did the right thing. They took a stand here.
So there were a lot of concerns that the original case against Mayor Adams was dropped for political reasons. And let's be frank here. It's not just about their desire for him to carry out the anti-illegal immigration agenda in New York. Mayor Adams has been very explicitly wooing Donald Trump. And now multiple resignations are linked to this decision from the Justice Department. Do you think the actions of Emile Beauvais are over the line?
100%. I think they're over the line. I think they're political, and I think they're wrong. And Jake, as you said, Eric Adams has been angling for this type of treatment. We thought maybe it would be a pardon for months now. I will tell you, in the SDNY circles that I sort of dwell in, people have been rolling their eyes at this for a long time, saying, oh, he's definitely going to get out of this. Somehow he'll get a pardon. But the way this all happened makes it even worse. The fact that Emile Beauvais instructed SDNY to do it. And by the way, when Danielle Sassoon refused to do it, and you're right, by the way, to note that she's a conservative. Not only was she a Federalist Society member, she penned an op-ed against Joe Biden a few weeks ago, just sort of gratuitously criticizing Joe Biden's pardons. But when Beauvais told her to do this, to dismiss the case, and when Danielle Sassoon refused, part is really chilling to me. Emile Beauvais then fired back with a letter that Evan just referred to that said, fine, everyone around you is going to be put on administrative leave too, and now we're going to investigate you, not criminally, but through our Inspector General, which is the in-house ethics watchdog. So
let's go into this woman, because we want to know exactly who Danielle Sassoon is, because now she is visible for the American people, and I think that it's important.
Well, after less than a month on the job, the interim U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York has stepped down. Danielle Sassoon is accusing the Department of Justice of quid pro quo after she refused to drop the corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams. Good Day's Robert Moses live outside Gracie Mansion trying to get to the bottom of this thing. Robert, what can you tell us?
Dan, it's hard to overstate how extraordinary this resignation is, and then the subsequent war of words back and forth between a top Justice Department official and this one-time acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District who just simply would not go along with his demands. That woman we're talking about, Danielle Sassoon, the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, at one point hardly a liberal Democrat. She is a registered Republican. President Donald Trump himself appointed her. She at one point clerked for the one-time conservative Supreme Court Justice Anton Scalia. She's a member of the Federalist Society, a conservative legal group. You get the idea. But after the acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais, who has represented President Donald Trump in the past, told Sassoon to drop the case against Mayor Eric Adams, she had had enough. She tendered her resignation, and Beauvais then accepted it. And then 5 officials who work in the public integrity section of the Justice Department in Washington also resigned. In her 8-page letter to the new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, Sassoon wrote, rather than be rewarded, Adams's advocacy should be called out for what it is, an improper offer of immigration enforcement assistance in exchange for a dismissal of his case. Now, the mayor's attorney, Alex Spiro, denies any kind of quid pro quo here. In a letter responding to Sassoon, Beauvais wrote, in no valid sense do you uphold the Constitution by disobeying direct orders implementing the policy of a duly elected president, and anyone romanticizing that behavior does a disservice to the nature of this work and the public's perception of our efforts. Really extraordinary back and forth here. So where does all of this leave the mayor? Well, criminally, it looks like he's in the clear. Politically, that's harder to tell. The only person who has the power to remove him from office is Governor Kathy Hochul. She spoke last night on MSNBC, and she did not rule out using her power.
I am actually going to review that shortly, and I want to deep dive into that. But what this basically looks like, and it is, listen, I'm not one to shy away from the facts. I think that this was a witch hunt against Eric Adams as a result of retaliation from the Biden administration. And I also believe that Eric Adams has pulled some really strong favors by switching sides, unlike Brandon Johnson, by switching sides and deciding that he no longer wanted to align with the Democratic Party and their agenda with this illegal migration, and that he had to go ahead and give in to the powers that be. We're going to get into that shortly. I'm going to get into Kathy Hochul. We're going to deep dive into this whole situation. But before we do so, I definitely want to make sure that I acknowledge the people that support the platform and everybody that's holding us down. First and foremost, I want to highlight Flow State Canine says, thank you, Big Wolf or Big Dog. I'm 34 and 3 days, married in October, and baby on the way. Thank you for your transparency, consistency, patience, and prayer. Praying for you on a daily G, everyday thing. Thank you, my friend. And I also pray for you, my friend. Mr. Joe says, I stopped checking for K-Dot after damn. T-Money, get the likes up. Shout out to the Service USA LLC. Like he pardoned people, White House. And Debt Free Dad Reaction says she did it because she ethically had to. She could lose her license. If Trump pardons him, that's fine, but she is not risking losing her license for a job she can only have for 4 years. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. I don't think so. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into the next portion of the show. So one of the reasons why, before we get into Kathy Hochul, I believe, and obviously it's true, one of the reasons why Eric Adams was able to secure a pardon, and he's seen this coming a mile away, and so that's one of the reasons why he basically started taking Trump's side during the election. One of the reasons why was because I believe that they really wanted access and they wanted him to play ball as far as giving him ability to be able to do what they wanted to do with the migrants. And so one of the concessions they are saying is that Eric Adams basically had to allow for Tom Homan and ICE to be able to go into Rikers Island and get the numbers up so that they can then arrest all of the illegal people that is not supposed to be here inside of the United States of America at all. What do y'all think about that? Well, before you share with me what you think about it, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And then let's go ahead and deep dive into it. So this is Tom Homan and Eric Adams allowing for ICE agents to be inside of Rikers Island after the meeting with the border czar.
Borders are Tom Homan. It comes as New York City and New York State are under intense scrutiny from the Trump administration over immigration policies and days after the Trump Justice Department paused the mayor's federal bribery charges. And good afternoon to you. I'm Liz Chow.
And I'm Pedro Rivera in for David. We just learned new information about that meeting. Mayor Eric Adams has decided to allow ICE agents to operate inside Rikers Island jail complex. City Hall says the new policy would allow ICE to operate on Rikers Island for criminal investigations, but not for civil immigration enforcement.
Now, this meeting took place just hours after the Trump Justice Department sued New York State Governor Hochul and Attorney General Letitia James over state immigration policies. And FEMA cut $80 million Congress previously approved for migrant care in New York City. And perhaps most significantly, the DOJ moved to drop Mayor Adams' bribery case so that he could focus more on Trump's immigration crackdown.
And that is a major point of concern among Democrats, both here in the city and in Washington. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg is live at City Hall with the latest. Lauren.
Well, on the surface, there's really nothing wrong with taking a meeting with a White House official, but so many people are questioning whether the mayor has the city's best interests at heart. We know that the Trump administration really wants to deport many people out of the U.S., and that runs afoul of New York City laws.
Hold on. Yes. Thank you.
The mayor dodged the press today before meeting with the border czar at the federal building in New York. This is the second meeting for the mayor.
Hold on. Yes. Thank you.
The mayor dodged the press today before
My bad. I was saying that, I'm sorry, I was muted. Excuse me, y'all. I was saying that Eric Adams used to be out of there a lot faster. He used to be really up on it. He used to be really getting to it. And he used to be a little bit nervous. He used to stutter a lot. He used to go back and forth with reporters, arguing and all of that stuff. But now, look at how he moves. When he don't like what's going on inside of there, when everybody is getting a little bit too, a little bit too extra, when they're asking questions that they shouldn't, they're not letting them talk. Look at how he walk out.
Hold on. Yes. Thank you.
the mayor dodged the press today before.
He's strolling like Clay Davis. Y'all know who Clay Davis is from The Wire? He don't even think about it. He ain't stuttering. He not going back and forth no more. He walking with a new lease on life. His shoulders is back up. You know what I'm saying? He got his tie back the way that it was. He got his blue power suit on now. He not tripping no more. He thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The mayor dodged the press today before
Ain't tripping
meeting
no
with the
more.
borders czar at the federal building in New York. This is the second meeting for the mayor and Tom Homan. And according to some conservative-leaning council members who first met with Homan today, the borders czar isn't happy about what he's seen from Mayor Eric Adams.
Mayor promised certain things, and he said the mayor hasn't delivered on one thing, and he seemed angry.
Councilmember Robert Holden from Queens says the borders czar wants to reopen an ICE office at Rikers Island and wants the mayor to provide NYPD officers to help ICE agents. But doing so could violate the local sanctuary
Azriel.
city
You
laws
coming up
that
with it
protect
next.
immigrants. Councilmember Holden believes there is a workaround.
He could do an executive order. In the event of public safety risks, a mayor of any city or town in New York State can issue an executive order to suspend, not eliminate, but suspend certain laws.
President Trump has also issued a flurry of executive orders to go around Congress, but executive orders often lead to lawsuits and likely would when it comes to the city's sanctuary city laws.
The mayor does not have the legal authority to suspend the law by executive order. He can issue orders, including emergency orders, but whether it's legal is a wholly different question.
The mayor says he's against mass deportations, but he's also open to working with the new administration, an openness that may be due to the Justice Department now calling for his criminal case to be dropped. And that is worrisome to many Democrats.
There are people in the communities that I represent back in Brooklyn who are deeply alarmed at the unfolding events connected to the current mayor of the city of New York.
Why are any Democrats even speaking nowadays? Democrats are nothing but content creators. They don't have any power. They can't stop any of the nominees that wind up becoming a part of the Trump administration's cabinet. They can't stop anybody from doing anything. All they doing is protesting LGBTQ rights. They signature moment is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, all of the Democrats, anybody that's a Democrat is basically just a content creator right now. I don't even know why we're taking that, why we getting any insight from them. It doesn't even make any sense. Why are we listening to Democrats now? Seriously. Like they are just tokens. That's all these Democrats are, they tokens. They just complaining on the pedestal, on the podium. They vote don't matter. It really don't matter what it is that they talking about. They just existing at this point. Seriously. It doesn't even matter what they saying, what Hakeem Jeffries is doing. Most of them is just trying to pivot so that they can get some visibility for maybe a next election cycle and just trying to raise campaign money, and that's why they're speaking so much.
Now, my colleague NJ Burkett just spoke with the mayor about his meeting with the borders czar, and he'll have more on what the mayor had to say coming up on Eyewitness News at 5. But here is a little glimpse of the mayor talking about really the fact that he says no one is pulling his strings.
When you follow my career, you know that I cannot be held hostage. I'm going to fight for the people of this city. I'm going to protect the people of this city. And lastly, the issue around immigration, spring of 2022, I was saying this, and I'm now saying it winter of 2025.
Good job, Eric. Listen, we know that you're the one that's really pulling the strings. You can't be controlled. You can't be compromised.
New York.
Good job, big dog. We're going to let you have that, and we want you to feel good about that. But here's borders czar Tom Homan talking about what's going on, and now that Eric Adams is in the space that he is, how they're going to be operating on Rikers Island.
New York City getting hit by an ice storm. Well, not that type of ice storm. But Trump's borders czar Tom Homan met with Mayor Eric Adams today after we learned that FEMA sent $59 million last week to house illegals in luxury hotels. But they may get a bit of a downgrade soon. Ever hear of Rikers Island? Adams announcing today that ICE, its office at the jail, is reopening. Reporters are Tom Homan joins me now. Tom, great to see you. Now, how significant was this moment, this pledge by Mayor Adams regarding Rikers and illegals, and what message do you think it should send to Governor Hochul, who seems to be doubling down?
Well, look, it's a great first step. It's a great first step. I asked for several things, and we're going to knock them off one at a time, but getting ICE officers back in Rikers is meaningful because we agree that, you know, the worst of the worst, the firearms violations, the murders, the kidnappers, the rapists, you know, will come to our attention, certain release, we can grab them. But I made it clear, I want everybody. If you're an illegal alien, you get booked in Rikers Island, I don't care if it's for shoplifting, I want them. So this is a start to deal with the worst of the worst in the beginning, but I made it clear that I plan on the whole of them. I want everybody. So we're going to work toward that. We agreed to some other things that I'm not going to discuss on national TV because I don't want the city council to know what I'm doing. City council is fighting the mayor and everything. So let's surprise them on what we're coming to the table with and let them sue me. Bring it, because I'm done. I'm not running a popularity contest. I came to New York to get meaningful action. We got a lot of words. The last meeting I had, today I came, I want action, I want a plan, and we're leaving with a partial plan, but I'll come back every week if I have to until we finish this plan. But it's a good first step to get back on Rikers Island. That's a game changer.
We have been hearing from our own Bill Maloogian over the last really week or so, especially about these child predator illegals who have been picked up in liberal sanctuary state Massachusetts. We've seen it in other states, but for some reason, Massachusetts, all of you watching out there, that little state of Massachusetts has become a hotbed of child predators. And yet again, they're just continuing to stick by their sanctuary status. What do you say to the people of America tonight about those people who are holding on to sanctuary status?
We'll see you in court. I mean, first of all, Kristi Noem, great secretary. She's been out with the Border Patrol, been out with ICE, been out with Coast Guard. She's done more enforcement operations in a week than Mayorkas did in 4 years. And we got a great AG, right? We got a great AG. Pam Bondi's going to take these sanctuary cities on. We're going to pull federal funding. We're going to start suing people if we have to. If they impede us, actively impede us, or if they're going to harbor and conceal an illegal alien from us, especially a child predator, we're going to seek prosecution. And Pam Bondi's all in. So gloves are off, game over, we're coming. So you can hide all you want, but I'm not going to be satisfied. To every gang member, every TDA member, we eradicate them from this country. Every illegal gang member, they need to be gone. Then we'll start opening that aperture for the 1.4 million that had due process great tax rate expense. They've been ordered removed by a judge. We're coming for you next. So this is a long game, but it's an important game, and we're not going away. Sanctuary cities or not. If I got a double manpower in Boston, if I got a double manpower in New York City, and that's what we do. Me and Kristi Noem are shoulder to shoulder in this. She's just as serious as I am about this. We're not taking no for an answer anymore.
Yo, the Republicans are dogs. Like they're wolves. They dogs, they wolves, they relentless, they beat down doors. You know, you can't really fight them. And I got a segment of the show today that basically goes over a CNN panel of them talking about that they're saying that there's no more masculinity within the Democratic Party. The Republican Party are dogs. They are relentless. They don't care how many lawsuits you file. They gonna file more. They gonna win. Trump is now getting recessions and concessions over from other people that he didn't sue back in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Tom Homan is a monster. They're going to go and flip over doors. They're going to go after sanctuary cities. They're going to go after migrants. They said if you are a legal migrant, but you around a dude and you didn't tell on the person that committed a crime inside of the United States of America, in addition to running over the border, they're going to come over you on that front. They are going to hunt you down. Down. I don't even know why anybody would want to get on Trump's bad side. Why would anybody, Democrats, honest to goodness, y'all need to either get on board or stand down. Get out of the way or stand down, because I have never seen a bunch of bulldogs the way that I see Every single person. Pam Bondi is on point. Trump is on point. Elon Musk, he is out here hunting. Tom Homan is out there. RFK Jr. just got confirmed. Tulsi Gabbard is over there doing what she do. Rand Paul, he over here documenting what's happening over at USAID. Caroline Levitt is over there doing what she doing. Man, listen, every single person is on mission. They not wasting no time. They hunting people down. They arresting migrants. They put them on cargo planes. They filing lawsuits against New York City's Letitia James and Kathy Hochul. They are not mincing words. They are all over everything. I have never seen a blitz, full court press from day one over and over and over again. They was not messing around. Sheesh. I seen Pete Hegseth working out with the Navy the other day, the military, before he went into work the other day. I said, good Jesus, Lord have mercy.
But Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension.
Waste of time.
Giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment is impediment, in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is about public safety. This is about community safety. Knowingly releasing a public safety back in the public is just stupid. You're putting the public at great risk. You're putting our officers at great risk. You're even putting the illegal alien at great risk because anything can happen on arrest on the street. So we just want to make common sense. In sanctuary cities, they want to step aside. Step aside. We're coming. We're going to do it for you. If you don't want to make your community safer, President Trump's going to.
Boom. Boom, boom. Good gosh. But listen, I mean, now is not the time to hold your ground. Now is the time for you to go with the rest of the people and the rest of the, you know how the women, they out here and they saying, we the 92%, we standing down. We not out here going to help nobody no more. We not going to help nobody no more. We standing down. We don't care who protests or whatever. Y'all just need to go over there with them. Honestly, y'all just need to go over there with them because this is not the time or the place for y'all to try to hold it down and become tough guys. Honestly, this is the wrong time. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Foxhole 99 says, is today Friday or Fired Day? No, it's Fired Day for some people. We're going to get into that shortly. Nope, it's Valentine's Day massacre for the federal workers. No chocolates, just pink slips and furlough lottery. I told y'all to seriously consider the offer. Yep, I did. Good morning, Anton. The after hour show was fire last night, wasn't it? It was lit last night. Service USA says, I might get out of retirement and work with ICE in Missouri covering fugitive migrants. Maybe it's a lot of money. The Republicans are moving like African wild dogs, ain't they? Ashley Patterson says, good morning, Fave. What up, Ashley? What's up, Ashley? Listen, you know I like them when they look like that. Says, good morning, Fave. You are so handsome with the perfect ball head. Yes, it is. It's smooth. It's smooth as eggs, ain't it? By the way, happy Valentine's Day and enjoy your weekend. Listen, Ashley, I appreciate you. Don't be putting on that pretty dress, getting all dialed up, putting your makeup on, and then gonna sit there and tell me, happy Valentine's Day. I like your bald head. You know how us fellas do. You know we love that. You know we love that, Ashley. Bless America Maggot all day, says LeGarrette. I appreciate you. Y'all gonna leave my stretchy jeans alone now. Hey, Quentin, we might have to get us an Ashley. I think Ashley took Carrie's advice yesterday, and she sent that super chat. You know the way to get my attention. The way to get my attention is through my pockets. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ashley, looking good. You know what I'm saying? Head smooth as eggs. Got me about to trick out here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Got me tricking out here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Oh, we're going to have a ball on after hours tonight. I want to go into Kathy Hochul. All right. Kathy is out here trying to figure it out. She appeared on a dying platform named MSNBC with Rachel Maddow, and she said, you know what, guys? I'm going to take these questions that I know she's going to ask me, and guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I know that the only way to stop Eric Adams is through me. I am learning more about local politics every single day. Oh, Carrie is my representative. Carrie said no go. All right, Carrie, I feel you. Somebody else told me to say, tell Ashley, nope. Somebody told me to tell Ashley, nope. I just got the message right now. I can't show y'all who said it. I just got to tell y'all. They said tell Ashley, nope. Ash, you're gorgeous. But the ladies, they not trying to have that Ash. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Kathy Hochul, ladies and gentlemen, appeared on Rachel Maddow, and this is what she had to say. I haven't seen the interview. We're reviewing it for the first time. We're going to get to it.
Governor Kathy Hochul of New York. Governor, I really appreciate you making time to be here. Thank you. Tell us about this decision that you made when you received this extradition order from Louisiana. How should people in this country expect this case to move forward? How do you expect the Louisiana governor to respond?
We put this in place as soon as we heard about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I need to protect our doctors because telemedicine is the number one reason people can get abortion pills. And 2/3 of all abortions are now by pills. And they've been approved by the FDA for 20 years. It's safe. We have a doctor who's trying to help someone in another state who's been denied the right of control over her own body, just doing what her oath requires her to do. And now she's treated like a criminal. It was not a tough decision for me, Rachel. I said, no and hell no. I will never, ever send this person into harm's way to stand for 15 years of possible jail time for just being a doctor. And that's what our country's come to. This is the ripple effect of the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the stacking of the Supreme Court under the last Trump administration. My mother's generation fought for these rights. My generation was able to take them for granted, and they're not there for my daughter's generation. My God, we've got to stand up and fight and let these women know. And I'm sorry for the sisters in these states where they're being repressed. But we should not allow government-mandated pregnancies. That's what happens when women don't have control of their own bodies. So we're always proud to stand up for women's rights here in the state of New York.
I feel like
is Kathy Hochul. Let me on. Y'all know who that is? That's my dog. Gabe. Let me on. What's his name? What is his name? I forgot what his name is. Jesse Peterson. Jesse Peterson. Yeah, no, it ain't Jesse Peterson, is it? Let me on. What is his name? Beta. I forgot what his name is. Anyways, Jesse Lee Peterson. That's right, Jesse Lee Peterson. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson. Is she? Let me on. Shout out to Jesse Lee.
I've been both anticipating this for a long time because of the way, because you signed that shield law, because you knew this was coming. But I also feel very unsettled by the fact that it's on us. I really don't know how this is going to resolve. I presume that you're expecting this to end up in federal court, potentially with the United States Supreme Court deciding the strength of your shield law versus the strength of Louisiana or potentially Texas's ability to take action against this New York doctor despite the shield. Is that where you think this is going?
Yeah, I believe it is, because what they've set up was by saying this goes back to the individual states. Well, I have to stand up for my state laws. The law that I signed in 2022 and again updated in 2023 says I have a legal responsibility to protect this doctor and other providers who are exercising this form of care for women, even out of state. So yes, it'll probably end up in another judicial litigation situation, but we can't just roll over and play dead here, Rachel. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Let this happen? No, we've got to fight for these rights. This is the place where the women's rights movement started in 1848. We had reproductive rights passed by a Republican governor, the Republican legislature 3 years before Roe v. Wade. Let's look at that history and have people start saying, my God, how did this happen? We cannot have this. And as a governor, I will always stand up for the people of my state.
New York is also...
Every Democrat, including Kathy Hochul, is so uninspiring. It even makes me wonder, how did these people even get elected? Like New York. Of all of the people that you could have possibly elected, you elected Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul. Right on in there with the Biden administration. Like, it's almost like watching paint dry. So uninspiring, so boring, so bland, so crazy, so idiotic. Like every adjective that I could use to describe Kathy would just be so meh. It's like plastic furniture from your grandmother. Like, you know, you got to go and visit, but you really don't want to sit on it. Not because the furniture is so awesome that's under the plastic, but because we just don't want it to get stuck to our booties. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing comfortable about that plastic on that furniture. Why did grandma put it on there? Kathy Hochul is the equivalent of plastic furniture from your grandmother, and the furniture is not even worth nothing in the first place. And you sit down and it's like, that's what I think of when I think of Kathy Hochul. Mannequin challenge. Zara statue. You know, the ones that's in the window, the mannequins that's in the window. Kathy Hochul is like old gum on the bottom of a chair. Just, you don't even want to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, ugh. What's wrong with y'all in New York? What is wrong with y'all in New York? Why do y'all elect these blah people? Kathy Hochul could be Rachel Maddow's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, just ugh.
Leading the way with a number of other Democratic-led states in challenging some of the initial actions of the Trump administration. Day one, challenging the effort to take away birthright citizenship, challenging the access by Elon Musk and his sort of kids to get into the Treasury payment system, among a number of other lawsuits. New York is taking on, with other states, the burden of litigation to try to stop them. Do you see that as essentially the major clash in this country, the best legal footing the Democrats have in terms of trying to stop them in the courts?
It's truly all we have. As sad as that sounds, I served as a member of Congress when the House was Republicans, but we had Democratic leaders in the Senate. So there's always this firewall to stop crazy from happening. We don't have that anymore. I worked so hard to elect enough Democrats to make Hakeem Jeffries the speaker, just to be a counterbalance if we ended up with Donald Trump in the White House. We came as far as we could in New York. Other states didn't get there. This is what we have to focus on. 2026 is right around the corner. So we as Democratic governors need the reinforcements to stop this in Washington. But until that time, we are it. And we have a lot of bold, courageous leaders. They're great friends of mine. And the message that I want to deliver, we're not going to have a hair on fire every moment. There's too much incoming. And you lose your credibility with the American people if they think all you're trying to do is attack. Now, if the Trump administration wants to roll up their sleeves and work with me to make New York City great again, help me invest in the subway system, make the subway system up to extend the Second Avenue subway up to Harlem so communities of color can have a shorter commute to the money jobs down in Wall Street, you have my attention. I'll work with you. That's what I'm trying to do. And fight for congestion pricing, which I wasn't sure how it'd work. Rachel, people are getting around this city with ease, and more of the commuters are coming in saying, my ride, I shaved 20, 30 minutes, and that is worth the cost.
That is another tax on New Yorkers. And if she think that Trump is even remotely going to work with her, Trump does not negotiate with terrorists. I don't know why these people is not understanding that. I don't know why they don't get it. I don't know why they're not paying attention. If you learned anything from Trump over the last 8 years, 8.2 years, is that Trump is unrelenting. Listen, Trump just named the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Trump told a whole country up north that he was going to make them the 51st state. Trump just told Vladimir Putin in Russia through J.D. Vance that it's a possibility that they can put tariffs on them. Trump told Iran if they touched the hair on his chinny chin that he was going to obliterate the entire place. Trump told Mexico to send 10,000 troops or we're going to put 25% tariffs on y'all. Trump just went over to China and he said, Trump don't give a F. He don't care. He sued CNN, MSNBC, Facebook. He even just took a payout. Trump just got $10 million from Elon Musk and X when they were Twitter. He still took his payout from Twitter, and Elon Musk is working for him to make sure that the federal government is right-sized. You know you something else when you settle. You don't even drop the lawsuit. You settle for $10 million. You make Elon Musk pay you to audit the federal government. And you sitting here talking about if Trump wants to work with me in order to extend it for the people of color. Didn't you just see him say that he getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Don't you see him firing all of these federal workers? If anybody had the inability to read the room, it got to be Kathy Hochul. Because if she's sitting here thinking that the Trump administration in less than a month, he done already got rid of bruh. If there was anybody that you could not negotiate with and the only thing you had to do was submit, it's him. He told God, I don't even understand the Gaza situation. He said, man, we might take Gaza and redevelop it. I said, I did the Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo. I didn't even understand. I'm still not understanding it. But I tell you what, when he said that he gonna do, he was like, they asked him point, hey man, you think you're gonna make Canada the 51st state? Yeah, I think they should become the 51st state. And I called Justin Trudeau, the prime minister over there, the governor of Canada. He started, listen, a lot of people missed it. Yo, he told, when Justin Trudeau took an executive flight down to Mar-a-Lago before Trump even became president, he called him the governor. A lot of people missed it. A lot of people thought that he was trolling. No, he was programming it into his mind that they need to become the 51st state. And a lot of people still ain't caught it yet. A lot of people was like, man, look at him disrespecting Canada and calling Justin Trudeau the governor of Canada. No, he was already basically putting it in his mind that y'all need to become the 51st state because y'all got some good old minerals. He told Ukraine, he said, oh, you thought that money was free. Biden promised you that. I didn't. We want everything. We want your minerals. We want your rare earth minerals. You gonna pay back $700 million for the $350 that they say that we gave you on paper. He is not playing no games at all. Zero, zilch, nada.
So these are areas I'm happy to work with the Trump administration. So it's not all anti-everything. But you come after any of the rights that we take for granted in our state, now you've got a fight on your hands.
Let me ask you about this drama involving Mayor Eric Adams and the corruption charges.
Did you just say now you got a fight on your hands?
Against him. what we've just seen with the resignation of the U.S. attorney, the Trump-appointed acting U.S. attorney, the removal of line prosecutors on that case, the demand from Maine Justice to drop that case, the refusal from SDNY to do it, then the resignation of Maine Justice officials who had the case dumped on them and they wouldn't take it either. This is just an incredible drama in terms of federal law enforcement right now. But you are in a very unusual position, a singular position with regard to this case, which is that thanks to the New York State Constitution and New York City law, you are the only person who has the power to effectively fire Mayor Eric Adams and remove him from this position, which might conceivably moot this whole fight. How are you thinking about that now? You could have done it at any point until now, but now, given this crisis that's emerged in federal law enforcement around this case, are you feeling differently about that responsibility?
Let me tell you from a couple of angles here. One is that this is unbelievably unprecedented for the Department of Justice in Washington to interfere in this way. My husband was a 30-year federal prosecutor. Barack Obama made him his United States attorney. You look at what happened here. This is not supposed to happen in our system of justice. The Bondi administration in that Department of Justice is already showing they're corrupt. Now, set that aside. I did see the letter that was issued by the acting United States attorney. The allegations are extremely concerning and serious.
Yes.
But I cannot, as the governor of this state, have a knee-jerk, politically motivated reaction like a lot of other people are saying right now. I have to do it smart, what's right, and I'm consulting with other leaders in government at this time. We've got to have one sane person in this state who can cut through all the crap and say, what is my responsibility, guide me to do? And just as when the allegations came out last September, and the city was in chaos, I said, I will intercede, work with the mayor to get rid of a lot of people who are under indictment, calm it down, bring in a new police chief commissioner who's doing an outstanding job. Our subways are safer. People are feeling better around the city. More people are coming back. I don't want our rebirth to be stopped by this. I have to maintain stability and the chaos and do what's right for the city of New York, because as governor, I also represent the city. These are my constituents as well. I'm going to make sure they're protected here. So if this just happened, I need some time to process this and figure out the right approach.
But you are consulting with other leaders, consulting with your advisors, and looking anew at this matter.
Of course I am.
Given the recent
developments. Of course I am.
Governor Kathy Hochul.
Nobody is scared of Kathy Hochul. Nobody is tripping off of her. I think that she don't have a backbone. She don't have a bone in her body to stand on. And Eric Adams and Trump and all of them are going to continue to do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. All right. I want to read a few of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. She was so uninspiring. Who's going bankrupt first, CNN or MSNBC? MSNBC. CNN is still profitable. They just cutting all of their salaries of everybody. Rich Steve, I'm against abortion, but since women can't choose, women can choose that when they make a law to let men give up the child support obligation on the kids, they don't want to. Shout out to Rich Steve. I appreciate you. Leggett says, Democrats can't keep up with Trump moves while they wasting time arguing one thing. He's already 5 steps ahead on the next agenda. Trump's team is like the Untouchables. Elon Musk is our Elliot Ness, and the mob are progressives. What the F does she mean about government mandated pregnancies? What government branch put out such a fallacy, or put a policy in place? And where is this law at? If it exists, the site is law, then cite the law. Sounds very much like manipulation. Appreciate you. Danny Shea says, Kathy face so stiff it don't move. Y'all think she got them injections? It don't move. And Rachel looking like Rick Owens in the face. AD, I'm putting tariffs on you for subjecting us to this. They conversation was pretty boring anyway. First, NY needs subway rail barriers like Japan. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. What up, y'all? Y'all ready to get into the next segment of the show? All right, let's get to it. So, USAID. This is the story that keeps on giving. These people just won't go away. Why won't they go away? What is so impressive or important about the people from USAID to where they feel compelled or they think it's important for us to keep hearing their voice. How many people they get rid of at USAID? Like 9,800, 9,900? They got rid of a lot of people over there at USAID. And I was feeling a little bad at first until I started seeing all of this dumb stuff and all of these people doing this dumb stuff, especially when it came to like protesting and all of that junk. I said, nah, dog. Nah, we can't have that. But this is what happened.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify before this committee. My name is Max Primorak. I am a senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I previously served at the U.S. Agency for International.
And he jumped. Hold on.
Served at the U.S. Agency for International.
Hey, look at the girl behind him.
Heritage Foundation.
On his
I
right.
previously served at the U.S. Agency for International. Heritage Foundation. I previously served at the U.S. Agency for International.
PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. 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 PEPFAR saves lives.
Hey, hold on. Hey, hold on, big dog. The one thing that you don't want to do, is you don't want to get hammed up by this security guard. This security guard is not playing no games. 0 F's given. This security guard is grabbing people up by their collar. I would flinch if he was, hey, man, what you doing, bro?
Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now.
Hey! Hey, dog is grabbing you by the collar and he is not playing no game.
AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now.
Nobody is getting discriminated against. No women, no children, no nothing.
Restore AIDS funding now.
Who is this security guard? Who is this police officer? Watch how he grabbed my man.
PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR
Hey.
saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now. PEPFAR saves lives. Restore AIDS funding now.
I guess these guys don't watch the news. They didn't realize that PEPFAR was one of the many programs that did prove to be life-saving. So the funding was restored. Somebody better give them a link to, I don't know, maybe Fox News or something like that. You may resume your opening statement.
How stupid. Okay, now I am forever going to be known as the person that got, hey, get up. Hey, restore it. It saves lives. And these dummies don't even realize that they had already restored it and it didn't even really make no difference. The funding had already been restored and these fools, now see, just for that, we're going to cut it off. Just for that, we are going to cut it off. We're not going to continue to deal with the foolishness. Imagine getting hemmed up. You know, that's the one thing I will tell you about white people. The one thing about white people is that they don't mind looking dumb and embarrassing themselves. It is a skill. It is literally a skill to embarrass yourself the way that white people choose to embarrass themselves. Honest to goodness. They have no care. They will sit there, get pissed on. They will get spray painted for their rights. Oh my God. A lot of y'all don't even realize that all of the people that was out there protesting, most of them from Black Lives Matter, those was white people. They don't care. White man, white woman, both of them is feminine. And it seems like once they get a certain age, like once they get past like 60, they turn ultra liberal. Next thing you know, you're getting thrown out from a hearing where you didn't even know that they had already restored the funding. Here's Rand Paul documenting and going over everything and a lot of the waste, line by line, some of the waste that USAID was wasting as of now, and how they were spending your tax dollars.
Today, we are going to dive into reckless and wasteful spending of our federal government, particularly when it comes to foreign aid. The United States should not be the sugar daddy for the entire world, especially not for countries and organizations who act contrary to our nation's beliefs. Our country is $36 trillion in debt, yet we continue to send billions of dollars overseas, often funding projects that are not just useless, but in many cases, actively harmful. Taking the path to fiscal responsibility is often a lonely journey, but thanks to Elon Musk and Doge, they've brought to light the waste that I've been highlighting for over the last decade. Every year I release my Festivus report to expose the ridiculous spending of the federal government, and this past year was no exception. I uncovered over $1 trillion in government waste, with the State Department and USAID being some of the worst offenders. Let me give you just a few examples of what these unelected bureaucrats are spending your hard-earned money on. $4.8 million went to Ukraine's public affairs office in Kiev to fund social media influencers. Instead of protecting our own border,
did y'all just hear what he said? $4-point-something million went to Kyiv in order to fund social media influencers. How come when this money is being distributed that I'm not aware of what's going on? And how come I ain't got my hands on none of it? Social media influencers?
$2.1 million was sent to Paraguay to enhance their border security. USAID also funded a group of Ukrainian women-led designers to travel to the Paris Fashion Show. I don't know about you, but I'd imagine Ukrainian women have more important things to worry about than appearing in the Paris Fashion Show. USAID spent $2 million on transgender surgeries, hormone therapy, and gender-affirming care in Guatemala. $3 million was spent to promote girl-centric climate action in Brazil. And I'd love to picture what a conversation about girl-centered climate action looks like. It's like, hey, Barbie, do you know what girl-centered climate change is? Since when do we believe arguments need to be tailored for girls to understand? How insulting to women at large that they think there are special arguments for girls to understand that are different than boys. $25,000 to fund a transgender opera in Colombia. Was nobody in Colombia willing to buy a ticket? USAID spent $32,000 in Peru to create a comic featuring a trans hero to address social and mental health issues. What does that have to do with diplomacy? $20,000 to fund a DEI program for a drag theater in Ecuador. $20 million was spent to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. USAID spent $6 million to promote.
That is a lot of money. $20 million to fund Sesame Street in Iraq. Basically propaganda. $20 million for Big Bird, Ernie, and Bert. Big Bird, Ernie, and Bert. We don't even know what kind of bird that Big Bird is anymore. That's crazy. USAID is just cutting checks. Who goes through the approval process of this?
A project boosting sustainable tourism in Egypt. I guess the U.S. is now the travel agent for the entire world since they spent $50 million on Tunisia's tourism, even though it's already one of the most visited countries in Africa. USAID gave $87.9 million to help Afghans farm, and incidentally, farm poppy, the plant from which opium is extracted.
Yeah.
As of 2021, Afghanistan supplied 90% of the world's heroin. I thought the saying in the U.S. was just say no to drugs. How about we just say no to wasteful foreign aid? $70,000 for a live musical event to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in Ireland. State Department paid $330,000 to compile a disinformation index to blacklist conservative media outlets. USAID funneled over $54 million to EcoHealth Alliance, funding the very organization linked to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the likely origin of the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's what I know
Disgraceful.
what Wuhan is.
$15 million was awarded to Taliban-controlled Afghanistan to distribute oral contraceptives and condoms. There's still a $3 billion fund for Afghan reconstruction that have tried to take that money to pay for other things that the government is spending money on, and yet there's been resistance by the other side to deplete that fund and say, we're done funding things in Afghanistan. This is just the tip of the iceberg. These are taxpayer dollars being used to fund ideologically misguided, ineffective, and unnecessary projects, thanks to the blundering bureaucracy, while our own citizens struggle to put food on the table. This is not what our government was designed to do. The U.S. government is not a charity, and it should not be doling out cash to foreign organizations, some of which actively oppose the United States with no oversight. And we don't have the money to give. We're borrowing the money we send.
You know this is nothing but money laundering, right? All of this stuff that we're talking about, listen, if you think even for 1 second that they spent $20 million on Sesame Street in Iraq, you a fool. If you think that they spent $20 million on Sesame Street in Iraq, you crazier than you thought. This is nothing but money laundering and kickbacks, bro. Whoever was on the receiving end of that, they split that 50-50 with whoever it is that pushed that through in order to get that government contract and spend it. Here's my question. Okay, because I'm so confused. How do you know about the government contract for this? Who is the person that comes up with this and says, you know what? We could do Sesame Street over in Iraq. Hey, reach out to USAID and see if they can cut us a check for like $23 million. No, we only got a budget for $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. Who are the people that then set the agenda for what is to be funded over in these countries? That's all I want to know. Honest to goodness, that's all I want to know. Who was the person that decided that they wanted to set this agenda and said, you know what? Green light that one. If they ever audit us, and I don't think that they would object to that and they would keep that funded. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. This ain't nothing but a kickback. Nothing but a kickback and nothing but disrespect altogether. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me move over into some of the super chats, and then we're going to get into the other half of the show or the other pieces. I got a couple more things that I want to get into on the show. Some really fun subjects. I think that y'all going to like them. A.R. Smitty says she should have grabbed her by the ear like, I thought we told your dumb A. TB says, AD, how likely is it that we will see a shutdown of the IRS or at least scrapping of the income tax? I don't think that that's coming anytime soon. Chef 673 says, I keep watching this hearing. All three witnesses testifies that the program that those three protesters were protesting was about hijacked by the Biden-Harris administration to fund trans agendas in Africa. Sesame Street presents Elmo visits the Al-Qaeda. Okay, cool. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Pookie's friend Ray Ray said they said Chris Christie spent $532,000 of federal money on pizza last year. Just say that then. A gay opera hurts my feelings. They said Big Bird shows up with this up to the set and shouts, Allahu Akbar. Things get real. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I seen this come inside of my email, and I said that I think that this would be a great conversation to broach on Friday. When you think about everybody that is a part of the Democratic Party as far as really having a position or the ability to run for a position, ask yourself this question. And I'm going to pose this on After Hours, I think, tonight. We'll see. We'll see. Do you guys think that there are any more masculine men within the Democratic Party? Let me say that again for the people in the back. Do you guys think that there are any more masculine men inside of the Democratic Party?
Is he right?
For my ladies, here's my question. If you are not in a relationship or you are in a relationship, do you want your man, and would you prefer a man that is conservative or liberal, and why? Would you want a man and advocate for a man that is liberal, Democrat, hardcore, followed, and then wind up following his mama to the polls, and then vote for Kamala Harris? Lowe said he think that women are more masculine than the men right now. T. Baker says political views don't make you a man. I beg to differ. I believe that that is absolutely positively false, because the thing that you vote for and the thing that you stand for is a reflection of your beliefs. It's a reflection of how you move. 100%. If you tell me, T. Baker, that your woman is equal to you, and just because she's a woman, and that you go 50-50 and you believe in equal rights and equal work for equal pay and all of this other nonsense, if you don't think that that is a reflection of who you are as a person and what you espouse as far as your values, if you don't add some context to that in order to clean that up, I would absolutely positively say that that is a reflection of who you are as a man. 100%. How you believe is how you vote. How you vote is what you stand for. How is that not a reflection of who you are as a man? Impossible that you just said that to me. Well, let's deep dive into the Democratic Party, because they definitely had some things to say, and they definitely had some things that they wanted to share about masculinity within the Democratic Party. This is a CNN panel, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel with any notifications. Let's rock.
Is he right?
I mean, Eric Adams is still a Democrat-ish, right?
You think he's masculine?
No, he's buff.
Yeah,
He's 63 years old. I was going to say Obama. When they said right away who's the most. Now, he's slim, but he's athletic. He plays ball.
But is he right that Republican? Well, first of
I'm
all,
not even sure if these guys even know what masculinity is. Does masculinity has anything to do with whether or not you slim and you wear Obama jeans? You wear the mom jeans? I don't think that has anything to do with it whatsoever. I know guys that are masculine that wear a suit. I know there's guys that masculine that wear a uniform into the plant. What are they? Where are they finding these people on CNN? And why can't they even answer the question? I don't think that masculinity has anything to do with the thing that they're defining it as on this panel right now. But let's see what they got to say, and let's play it by ear.
let me just show you the numbers, because actually the numbers maybe do suggest this. For young men under the age of 29, the swing from 2020 to 2024 in Trump's favor is pretty significant.
All right, T. Baker. You are the next contestant on The Price is Right. Here, help me to understand it. If you want to come up, you can. Help me to understand how that doesn't make sense. Help me to understand, T. Baker, how who you vote for does not play a role in whether or not you're masculine as a man. Link is in the chat, T. Baker, for you to be able to have your conversation. I want to know what you think.
49 to 48, Trump to Harris, it's almost tied with young men. Trump did very well with young people relative to what he normally does. There's something going on here.
No, and I mean, this was why,
Joe Rogan was so influential in this campaign. Joe Rogan has an audience mostly of young men. There was this whole big drama about whether Kamala Harris was going to give an interview to him, wound up not doing it. I think is probably a mistake, although it probably didn't affect the outcome of the election. But I mean, I think, you know, what that guy said was pretty dumb, but it is not it is not true. It is true that Democrats have a problem, especially with young men. I mean, that is a real fact.
So that in a way it validates what Clay Travis is talking about, because if you're trying to get young men, you're not going to get them on all policy points and all the no. Joe Rogan knows karate, and sometimes he talk about drugs. That's good enough for me. Pete Hegseth was in Germany this week doing squats with like 220 on the bar outside for no reason. That's what the Democrat. I'm being silly, but
and you know what?
serious.
One of the other points that Clay Travis made, and I think this is true. We saw this in real time when Trump had the assassination attempt in Butler. That image of him raising his fist and saying "fight, fight, fight" was like a shot of testosterone in the arms of a lot of men. Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Oh my God, he's so cool."
And
like, and now look at where we are politically with some of these very people really turning politically toward Trump.
Those numbers that you just read, it's been happening for 10 years. This has been happening slowly but surely over time. I think that pollster in that clip earlier had said 2 out of 6 moderate men voted for Trump. Sorry, it was the majority of moderate men voted for Trump. Even over 20% of liberal men voted for Trump. There has been what is seen as I don't want to say a war on masculinity, but there has been this trend in the Democratic Party, or it's at least felt that the left is becoming more and more hostile to the things that are typically men. And you've seen John Fetterman talk about this idea of like patronizing, calling them bros, or that ad that looked like a spoof at the end of the race of like real men do this. It's like, have you ever talked to a dude in your life? So in James Carville saying, you know, we need to have less like yappy voices and more men talking. And there are many men in the Democratic Party.
Democratic messaging is too feminine. But Carrie, what do you think is the masculinity that they are attracted to in Trump?
I'm laughing because I just, no disrespect to you lovely men on this panel.
We do have
but you men or something. That's all, you know. You men or something. And I can see the appeal of Donald Trump being a very strong masculine man. And I can see him winning over men, because I do agree the Democratic Party for all intent and purpose felt like a place for the others. And they tried to take on every issue that the Republicans didn't want. If you want to talk about trans, come here. If you want to talk about LGBTQIA, come here. If you want to talk about men and women, you know, in sports, come here. There were all of these things that I felt men wanted to say felt emasculating. It felt like, I'm not with that. I don't believe in that. And I'm going to go over here because they're saying what I'm thinking.
And the abortion issue played a role in that. I mean, I think they did a political calculation.
And I think no one cared about abortion.
The big thing.
I think no one cared about it. I think everyone thought that was the issue. And when it was all said and done at the end of the day.
So wait a minute. Y'all literally campaigned before Kamala Harris even became the Democratic nominee for president of the United States of America. Earlier in the campaign, before election season even kicked off, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was crisscrossing the country in order to tackle women's rights. That is a fact. Now they want to sit here and gaslight me and say, well, nobody even cared about that. Man, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Dog, I had men. Men were coming up on the panel. Men were coming up on the panel and they were telling me, Anton, on Monday nights, I said, bro, what is it that you like about the Democrats right now? He said, you know, I want to stand up for women's rights. I said, what do you mean you want to stand up for women's rights? I said, you got a daughter, you got a wife? No, I just think it's something that we need to pay attention to. Molly says something, not this last live stream last night, but on Tuesday. We were having an argument, really, and that's why After Hours is so awesome, and y'all need to tap into After Hours tonight. We were having an argument, and Molly said that she believes because we were talking about men that paint their fingernails in order to get a contract, an NIL deal in college. And Molly said, listen, y'all are turning y'all sons gay. Y'all are pushing this feminist agenda, and it is turning y'all sons sassy. They don't have no strong male presence in their life. They don't know what adversity feels like. I see more men every single day on these applications, and they're crying. When I woke up this morning, I actually opened up TikTok. It said that it was not available in the Google Play and the Apple Store. But I think that masculinity is starting to come back, and people identify with Trump, and they say we want to be like, and we want to be around a man's man. And guess what? We was supporting Trump when it wasn't popular to do so, and everybody was going against us. But I'm just telling you, bro, they are driving masculinity out of our society and out of our culture. They are driving masculinity. They say support the alphabet community. They say men can use women's bathrooms. They say that we're going to gentle parent. I see women often at times raising super feminine children that wind up being son husbands. Masculinity has been driven out of society for so long that people are now revolting against it. And y'all think it's an attack on y'all. No, it's an attack on a culture. 100%. And these people don't know what they're talking about, including this woman right here.
I'm not saying I don't care about abortion, but what I'm saying is when Kamala made that one of her huge talking points, when Michelle campaigned for her, that was a huge talking point. And then in my mind, I'm all like, well, what happened to these people? I knew that people would be upset about that. And it felt as if it didn't matter, although it does. It felt as if it didn't matter because the conversation about manly men, as we just saw that young man say on the panel, or what is his name again?
Clay Travis.
Yeah, I knew that.
Let me tell you what I literally seen Billy Porter. I was talking to Mika on the phone yesterday, and we was talking about setting up the show and stuff like that. And Mika said, remember when Billy Porter was dancing next to Biden on the White House lawn? And that was the vision that Biden and the White House was trying to show us. Let me see if I can find it. Billy Porter, White House. This is it. I remember this. I'll never forget it. When I seen this, it was Kamala Harris, Billy Porter, Kamala's husband, all of them. And I seen them dancing on the White House lawn. I will never forget it. Y'all said, is she trans? Ain't no she. That's a biological man. What you talking about? All the way over there to the left. This was literally right after the writer's strike. And Billy Porter's house was in foreclosure. And this is what they were showing on TV. And they got Kirk Franklin, the one up there singing. Billy Porter has on heels, one of the tallest people out there. Biden is frozen up there. Kamala Harris is dancing. Dougie is looking stupid because that ain't even his culture. And they got these chairs on the White House lawn having a concert with Kirk Franklin. I don't want to love nobody but you. Look at Biden. What does it do? Oh my God. Look at what we had in the White House, y'all. Look at what we had in the White House. That is a corpse. That is literally a corpse. Look at what we had in the White House. We had Billy Porter dancing next to Kamala and Biden on the White House, and y'all telling me that this wasn't an assault on masculinity? Lord, forgive us. Forgive us for what we did these last 4 years. Forgive us for following women to the polls. Honestly, we need to repent as a country for giving in to the things that we see right now. It was disaster. Yo, last 4 years was miserable. It was one of the most miserable times of people's lives. Real talk. 4 years of misery. It was misery. Y'all don't even know how bad it was. It was bad. It was bad. It was 4 years of misery. Misery. We was out here getting our heads cracked in as masculine men. Good God. Do y'all know what we went through over the last 4 years? For a lot of people, it was the worst times of their life. You had the vid. It was a lot of people that died from that manufactured Wuhan vid. We had migrants coming over here. It was so much sassiness and diversity, equity, and inclusion. I said, oh my God. Jesus, look at this. Got to go before an appeal board. Legal notice. They don't want to approve how big I want to build my house, this house on. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. All right. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to get over to the next part of the show. We not done. AD and friends, how amazing are these discoveries? Is what in the world, car? Go ahead and change that cover photo. Abe the Hunter says, for example, the USAID put out the solicitation and the contractors fulfilled the contracts. The USAID contractors need to be investigated. So my apologies for the typos. Big Bird teaching kids where the bomb of the day blew up at. The masculine men voted for Trump. Numbers show. More people voted 47 and smiled to everyone's faces. They tricked into thinking that they would vote for Kamala, camel toe. Happy girl in the building says, you know, masculine when a man walks in a room. That's a fact. Can't even say masculine things on YouTube because the men, M-E-N, can't even type the word man because YouTube staff are weak. Anton, I don't think so. The State Department had a drag conversation program or a drag conversion program from the White House exploiting the men fleeing Marxism in South America. Representative Maria Salazar calls this out yesterday, and Molly was right. Jerry says, on the left, men became more feminine and women lack femininity and are so masculine. On the right, men are masculine and the women are feminine. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. See, I'm not even a conservative, says Civil Designs or Civ Designs. But what the hell does this woman mean? You men are something. They still do not understand that men are not going to be talked down to. Masculinity is not inherently negative. Kid Chameleon says, Biden, black people are so funny. Senile Joe looking demented and Kamala trying hard to be black, says Rich Steve. The Democratic Party think Magic Johnson's son is the definition of masculinity, says Limitless Minds. And Mopal 89 says Biden looking at them like, look at my proud slaves. Look at my proud slaves. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it today. All right, y'all. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we get up out of here is over 75,000 people accepted the Trump administration buyout and decided that they wanted to get paid through September and then get up out of here after that. Now,
a federal judge.
Now what happens? I'll tell you exactly what happens. But before we do, Let me go ahead and share this screen with you guys, and then I'm going to break this down for you and tell you how this plays out now.
To buy out tens of thousands of those government workers. Wednesday's ruling out of the U.S. District Court in Boston also allowing the White House to close the window to accept the offers, which it did at 7 Eastern time last night. News Nation's Kelly Meyer is here now. Kelly, it wasn't all good news for the administration's buyout plan.
That's right, Courtney. News Nation has confirmed 75,000 federal workers. That's less than 4% of the federal workforce accepted President Trump's buyout program, but that's short of the 5 to 10% goal that was laid out by the White House. Now, unions had warned employees against taking the deal, and Democrats warned the government could go back on its word. The program offered more than 2 million federal workers to be paid through September 30th if they resigned by February 6th, 1 week ago today. The offer was 8 months of pay and benefits for those who wanted to resign ahead of Trump's return to office mandate. This was to reduce the federal workforce and get people back into the office who have been working from home since the pandemic. The February 6th deadline was extended because of legal pushback, but once the court lifted that pause last night, the deadline hit. Now, a spokesperson for the Office of Personnel Management told me that they are pleased the court rejected the effort to strike down the program, saying, quote, there is no longer any doubt the deferred resignation program was both legal and valuable option for federal employees. This program was carefully designed, thoroughly vetted, and provides generous benefits so federal workers can plan for their futures. And while White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is calling this the, quote, first of many legal wins for President Trump, another group of unions looking to stall the buyout effort filed a lawsuit in D.C. late yesterday. Right now, it's not clear how or if that impacts what happens next.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joininn.com.
So what is basically happening now is 75,000 people accepted the buyout offer. They wanted to target at least 5 to 10% of people before they started to hold them accountable. Let me say that again for the people in the back. 75,000 people accepted the buyout offer. They wanted more. They wanted 5 to 10% of the federal workforce to accept the buyout offer. But then at the same time, if you know Trump, if you know how we do business, if you know the Trump administration, then you also know, because a lot of you in the chat, some of you in the chat is saying, Anton, I wasn't accepting that trash buyout offer. Okay, I got you. I hear you. So the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to release the people who are not bound by the federal government because they didn't get enough buyouts in the first place. But they're going to release the contractors. This happens standard. When layoffs are about to happen, and a lot of people have never been through a layoff because either you're too young or you've been protected by the federal government, but your time may or may not be coming. We'll see. The first thing that people do is they then first, or that a company does, because we run in the United States of America like a business with smaller government now. The first thing that you do is you let go of all of the contractors. The first step before the hammers start to really come down is the contractors got to be let go.
From the White House tonight that could affect hundreds of thousands of people here in the DMV and across the country.
Yet News 4 learned the Office of Personnel Management met with federal agencies today and told them to begin letting people go. Those agency leaders were told to dismiss probationary employees. That means workers who have typically only been with the federal government for 1 or 2 years.
Wait a minute. For probationary employees, if you go on for the federal government, it's 1 to 2 years. It's not 90 days. I don't think it matters anyway, because everybody or almost everybody that works for the federal government is an at-will employee. If you are not a union member, you are an at-will employee, meaning that you could be fired for any time, for any reason at all. All right. And I wonder, oh, wait, so I got a question. Y'all got 2 years probation? It's 2 years for y'all? Okay, so, all right. So let me ask y'all a question. If you are one of the employees that have between 1 to 2 years of, or less than 2 years of service, right? Meaning that it was a strong possibility that you was going to be the last one in, first one let go. Why wouldn't y'all, or did y'all even get the buyout offer? Did federal employees get the buyout offer or no? Somebody tell me, did federal employees get the buyout offer? That is correct, April L. Basically, people are going to be leaving money on the table. Quick Fix says we didn't. State is 1 year. You have to pass 2 years, so 2 years plus. No. K Soup said they got the buyout offer. They had the option for the buyout offer. Probationary employees can't do it. It was by discretion for us. Yes. So did y'all get it or did y'all not get it? Heard we got it, but department was exempt. Everyone got it. Art Lee said everyone got it. Courteous contemplations, everybody but the post office and probation. LD said we all got it. I don't think y'all know what y'all did. Y'all need to figure this out. Rick Euro says, yes, we got the fork in the road. We got it, but we wasn't allowed to take it. What? You're right, username Delta. So let's assume that they did. Let's assume that they did, or at least some of them did. Well, now you left all of the money on the table. That's really what it comes down to. Y'all basically leaving money on the table.
That's before all their civil service protections kick in. Hundreds of thousands of people could be affected by this. In fact, within the past hour, the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, announced it was letting go of 1,000 probationary employees. Now, this is all still developing tonight. News 4's Jackie Benson has more on what we need to know and reaction.
A source familiar with the meetings tells News 4's I-Team that at least 216,000 probationary employees could be impacted, and no agency is said to be exempt. That number is approximately 9.4% of the entire federal workforce. An OPM spokesperson told News 4 in a statement, "The probationary period is a continuation of the job application process, not an entitlement for permanent employment." The statement went on to say, "Agencies are taking independent action in light of the recent hiring freeze and in support of the president's broader efforts to restructure and streamline the federal government." OPM says less than 5% of the federal workforce took the deferred resignation offered by the Trump administration, which had set a higher expectation, hoping between 5 and 10% would accept it. The head of the American Federation of Government Employees Union responded tonight with a statement that says, "These firings are not about poor performance. There is no evidence that these employees were anything but dedicated public servants." He added, "They are about power. They are about gutting the federal government, silencing workers, and forcing agencies into submission to a radical agenda that prioritizes cronyism over competence."
The situation was not normal even before the termination notices went out.
Johanna Hickman lost her job as senior litigation counsel, a position in which she served since 2023 when the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was shuttered Tuesday.
And then around 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, all of the probationary employees, as far as we know, which is folks in their first year or two, depending on what type of job they have, all of those probationary employees lost access to their computer systems. And then around 9 p.m., the termination notices started going out by email.
The union.
All right, so this is basically what's going to happen. All right, they're going to let go of a lot of the contractors first. The contractors that they don't need, those are going to be low hanging fruit because it's going to be easy to be able to let them go. They don't owe them anything. They don't have any obligation to continue the contract. And then more importantly, they may not renew some of the contracts and all of that stuff. Then start coming to layoffs. So they're going to go through every department. They're going to go through the Department of Defense. They're going to go through the Education Department. They're going to go through every single the environmental agencies. They're going to go through the departments. And the only people I believe that are safe are people that are law enforcement. Law enforcement employees will probably see an uptick in recruitment But as far as regular everyday people, I believe that a lot of people are going to regret not taking the money. Not everybody, but I believe it's a lot of people that's going to regret not having taken the money and getting that 8 months pay, because I don't think that it's ever going to open back up. If you one of the people that get laid off because they go through your department and they say, you know what, we don't need you, then what's going to happen is you are going to be laid off and terminated, and you will not get the buyout. You're going to be wanting to go back and get the buyout, and it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. So I hope that y'all okay. I hope that y'all safe. I hope that y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. It's going to be a hootin' good time, and we going to rock out, all right? AD and friends, how amazing. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. All right, I got you. Let me see where I stopped this at. Read that. Magic Johnson's son. I think that's it right there. I actually made a messed up one. So let me make sure I go back and I look at it. Give me a second. Just want to see something real quick. Shout out to Duran Lee says Cookie Monster going to lose them hands for stealing them cookies. And shout out to Mr. Tesla 365 says men are something. I bet she's single for sure. Talking about the lady that was on the show. Shout out to Car Fairbanks says, how in double hockey sticks did any of them think Porter and his strong face made sense? You know how it is, woke agendas. Whatever reason they thought that them endearing them to the Democratic Party would be awesome. Biden looking at them like, look at my proud. Yeah, we said that one. All right, so listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. I have more work to do. Thank you too, Private. Man, what is up with all of these cute girls? Thank you for all that you do too, Private, and thank y'all for holding me down. Listen, Time Dog hasn't been asleep in 2 days. 2 days. So before I jump on After Hours tonight, I got to do a little bit more work, and then I'm going to get back into it. We're going to get it back into the mix. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We had a phenomenal week. We back in the studio, but before then, I'm going to drop some content on Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and send this to your family and friends. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all on After Hours tonight. Peace.